A gracious good day to one and all once again. 'Tis I, Norton the First, by grace of God, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. Back with you for episode 75 of Emperor Norton's fantastic history vlog. Today is June 20th, 2020. It is our 95th day under a shelter-in-place order here in San Francisco. And as we do every Saturday, it's an extra special show with our special guest star, the Countess, Lola Montez of Landsfeld. Good day, Countess. How are you?
A good day to all, and thank you, Your Majesty, for having me on. And hello to all of you out there, and happy Pride Month. Indeed. Here in San Francisco, the Black Lives Matter still is happening, and all these events with Juneteenth and that sort of thing. And it is also Pride Month, so we're celebrating that as well. So it's lovely to be back with you, and thank you for all those that have written in and all those that contacted us.
Indeed.
And we enjoyed talking about the Rainbow Honor Walk last week. So this week we have some other treats as well. And I hope you're out there having a great Pride and being safe as well.
Well, this has been a wonderful week for LGBTQ people in general, because the Supreme Court ruled it's now illegal to discriminate against LGBTQ people in employment. That's a wonderful victory, isn't it, Countess?
Hurrah!
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Amen, as we should say. Yes, it's lovely. So I have a few jokes as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear
So last week we started off, and it was a little bit of humor there. You know, we've had so many serious things happening in the world. It's nice to retain our humor, you might say.
We all need a little laugh.
Yes, indeed. So remember, the question was posed, you know you're gay when, and then people would finish the sentence. So I have a few more of those.
Oh, boy.
Yes. So I'll share those with you now. You know you're gay when you understand why the good Lord created spandex. You know you're gay when you understand why the good Lord did not intend everyone to wear the spandex. You know you're gay when you're the only guy who gets to do the Cosmo quizzes. You know you're gay when you know how to get a waiter's attention. You know you're gay when you only wear polyester when you mean to.
There's no excuse for wearing polyester.
You know you're gay when, at any given instant, you can recite who is gay since the dawn of history. You know you're gay when you can tell your sexual compatibility with a potential partner by the way he holds a drink. Well, there you have it. Indeed. Now, I know you like to read, Your Majesty, as well as I do.
I'm a bibliophile.
Oh, that's lovely. It's a wonderful thing, especially if you're sheltering in place or any time at all. You can pick up a good book and have a good read. Well, I have also been reading, and I went back through my library for Pride, and I have a few selections that I want to share with all of you.
Uh-oh, another earthquake, I think.
Is it indeed?
Oh, dear.
Well.
Oh, dear.
All righty.
Oh, no, it's just the Imperial Pooch. Bummer. Bummer. Oh, well.
So one of the good reads I have is Confessions of a Jewish Nun. And this is written by Sadie Rabbi Lady, whose name was Gil Block. Now, Gil Block unfortunately has passed on to the other side, but it's still a good read. And there's actually something in here that Sister Sadie, the Rabbi Lady, wrote about Emperor Norton. So it's a very good read if you want to find out what was happening here in the 80s and in the late 70s and all sorts of things going on.
Is that 1870? 19.
The 1970s and 80s.
Did she write something good about me?
Oh, it's humorous.
Oh, that's okay.
But due to the time, we're going to move on. Another good read is by Peter Boag. I believe that's how you spell it, or how you pronounce it. B-O-A-G. It's called Redressing America's Frontier Past. And it's a lovely book to read. Very interesting that, you know. It was quite a time. A lot of people have a misconception. And a lot of the ancestors, the folks coming out west, they were transgender as well. And, you know, starting off as transvestites, you know, wearing the clothes of the opposite sex. So it's a good read if you want to know about some history of the LGBTQ community.
Can't leave out the Q.
Now, here's an old book of mine that I love to read. Chris Albertson wrote it about the life of Bessie Smith, who was one of my role models indeed. And she, of course, was a very fantastic blues singer. They called her the Empress of the Blues. And she also was a lesbian, or bisexual as the case may be. I think it was a matter of convenience. She was quite a part here. There's lots of old pictures of her taken by another writer that I like to read, and his name is Carl van Vechten. He was quite the photographer as well.
Indeed.
And he also had quite a torrid affair with Langston Hughes, the writer, in Harlem. Now, another good book is The Boys of Fairytown by Jim Elledge. And it's called The Boys of Fairytown. This is about Chicago. Sodomites, female impersonations, third sexers, pansies, queers, and sex morons in Chicago's first century. It's a great read. If you get a chance, you can pick it up if the library's open.
What's a sex moron?
Well, I don't know. We're going to have to do research.
Yes,
Your Majesty.
indeed. Yes.
Now, as I said before, I dated quite a bit, and some people are as stupid as a post. I dated a fella once. He was gorgeous to look at. He was so stupid he couldn't count to 21 unless he was naked. Now, here's another book by Dan Nicoletta, The LGBT San Francisco. Perhaps you've seen this one around. It came out a couple of years ago.
It's a wonderful book.
Yes, and I want to show you something special, folks. Who's this lovely couple right here on the inside of the jacket?
I don't know if you can see that or not, but I believe that's us, isn't it?
It is. It's us.
Ah, there we go.
Yes. Out for a soiree. I think that was at Mama Jose's birthday party.
The
that
Hotel
we went to.
Whitcomb, yes, indeed.
Yes, at Hotel Whitcomb. Now, perhaps, Your Majesty, if I may trouble you, could you get that picture of Julia Eltinge down? I forgot to get
Which
it.
one?
The top one, yes. That's a picture of him in the Merry Widow. And while the Emperor gets that down, this is from my own collection, and it is a signed autograph original copy of Julian Eltinge. And today, I'm going to talk a bit about him. This is a picture, believe it or not, of a man dressed like a woman. I know it's hard to believe. Anyway, Julian Eltinge, this was taken about 1912, was very famous, and there are so many famous female impersonators or female illusionists or drag queens or what you want to call them. But it was quite an art, and still is. I mean, these are the days long before shows like RuPaul's Drag Race and all that sort of thing. We now, you know, nowadays we have people like Heclina and Peaches Christ and all that sort of thing that's popular here. But back in the old days, there were so many as well on vaudeville stages, as well as the time of the gold rush. So there are so many that we all, I'm sure, have favorites. I hope you like me. But we must focus on just one or two because time does not allow.
Indeed.
We would be here forever, and Pride Month is only 1 month. So I want to talk about Julian Eltinge, and he was born in Newtonville, Massachusetts, to Julia Edna Baker and Michael Joseph Dalton. And in his early teens, Elton's dressed in women's clothing and performed in saloons patronized by ranchers and miners. His father found out about that in 1899 and beat the bejesus out of him and did.
Dear.
He was from a good Irish Catholic family and he was ashamed, you know, the father was ashamed about it, and they sent him back to Boston, and he was 17-year-old, got a job in the dry goods store as a salesman while he studied dance. Well, to go on and on, there's a lot more to say about him, but he was the first female role, originally having been at the age of 10 with the Boston Cadets Review at the Tremont Theatre in Boston. Now, he went on, and he had quite a career. William Julian Dalton, who became known as Julian Eltinge, he, from the age of 10, you know, he had this fascination with dressing up and being a female illusionist. And so what happened, he ended up on Broadway in 1904. Now, it's fascinating that once vaudeville started dying out, that he got into film. But I want to tell you a very interesting fact. He was making more money than Sophie Tucker at the time at $3,500 a week.
That was a lot of money back then.
It was indeed, yes. And they began to call him the Mr. Lillian Russell. You know, she was quite the popular beauty and musical comedy star. And he was quite a striking man. But, you know, because of the times, he did what he had to do to survive and do his art and craft. He developed, and he had these most beautiful gowns that when he would perform on vaudeville, they would display some of the costumes outside, and many of the women especially that loved to sew, that could appreciate all that handiwork, would go in there and they would look at everything. So what happened is when vaudeville started going out and movies coming in, he was in one of the first films with none other than Rudolph Valentino.
Oh my.
Yes, it was a movie called The Isle of Love in 1918. It was Rudolph Valentino and Virginia Rapp. And if you go to the YouTube, you can pull that up, Isle of Love with Rudolph Valentino. And Julian Eltinge plays a female role in that. It's fascinating.
Really?
Yes, it was quite something. It was never a real big hit, but people did enjoy that. Now, I will tell you this. He performed also at the Bijou Theatre in New York a lot. And in 1906, he had gone to England and performed at the Palace Theatre.
Oh my.
In front of, you know, King Edward the Seventh. And he presented him, King Edward, with a white bulldog. Oh. Fascinating that. Now, his New York debut was at the Alhambra Theatre, and that was 1908, 1909, with Cohen and Harris. And they were notables because they went around with shows as well. And he got quite a name. He actually had his own theatre. And the building is still in New York to this day on 42nd Street. And it was called the Eltinge Theatre. Well, they actually moved the building up a block, and you can go there today. However, it is an AMC Empire 25 Cineplex. And I don't know, they're still in business. They're showing those flicks there.
Well, I don't think at the moment, but hopefully very soon.
Yes. Well, it was moved entirely down the block. And the reason I bring it up, if you still go there, there are all these murals of Julian Eltinge, along with, he is as a man in the middle, and then all the characters he played. It was fascinating. So what happened, he was making $3,500 a week and very, very popular, sought after. And he did the movie with Rudolph Valentino, and but you know, personal life had to be guarded in those days. If you were a homosexual, you had to have a beard, not like your beard, Your Majesty.
Oh.
But for example, Eltinge would travel with a woman, another actress by the name of Laurette Bouviant Fry, and there are always publicity pictures of the two of them together. But he went out of his way to prove his masculinity, and he took up boxing, that sort of thing. Dorothy Parker wrote about him and coined the term ambisextrous to describe him. Well, wrap your mind around that, will you? Oh, many others, Milton Berle and Ruth Gordon back in the day, would make comments about him. And, you know, no existing records were there of having a lover of either sex, so it went on. And in 1929, as we all know in the United States, the stock market crashed. And by the 1930s, the female impersonators that had built careers began to lose popularity, as did the vaudeville in general, and Elton resorted to performing in nightclubs. But the change was people were getting more conservative in their ideas, and they started cracking down on cross-dressing.
Oh, dear.
They considered it a homosexual activity, and they prevented Elton from performing in his attire as a woman. Well, by February 25th of 1941, Elton fell ill, and he had been performing at Billy Rose's Diamond Horseshoe nightclub, and he went ill and went home, and he died 10 days later on March 7th.
Oh.
His death certificate lists the cause of death as cerebral hemorrhaging.
Hemorrhaging, yes.
Yes, he bled, poor baby. But, you know, you can find him in Buster Keaton's comedy, The Seven Chances, in 1925. He had a long career and was very popular, but, you know, it was very difficult. It's a good example of the struggles people have. They can be a wonderful star, make lots of money, and it just vanishes away when you have your troubles, perhaps legal fights. So, the lesson here, children, and all of you listening out there, is the struggle goes on every day. Be strong and resist anything that is not just. That's the lessons we get. So happy Pride Month. Thank you, Julian Elton, for all you did in the years ahead. And I hope you enjoyed. So try to read that. And I also want to make a message, Your Majesty.
What's that?
To all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, indeed. Happy Father's Day. We were never a father ourselves.
No, well...
Those that were, that are...
You're father of the empire.
That's off to you. Well, that's true.
Yes.
Yes.
As we say.
So, Countess, I believe, since it's Saturday, you always have a song for us, don't you?
Oh, yes. Well, I think so. This is a lovely song. It reminds me of Jim Henson, and many have recorded it. But today we're going to do it. 1 second here. I think I have just a wee bit of a tickle in my throat, you know.
It must be in
a little
voice,
libation
yes,
wouldn't be bad. 'Tis better.
Very good.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Are you ready, Countess?
I was born ready.
Here we go.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that there's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the dreamers, the lovers, and me. Thank you all. Thank you, Your Majesty.
That was lovely.
We do try.
Well, I guess that wraps it up for this edition. We'll see you again on Monday for our catch-up show. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay healthy. Stay inside, but if you do go outside, wear a mask. Be smart. Don't be stupid. Don't take unproven cures. Be kind to one another. Right, Countess?
Yes, indeed. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride to
Chase
one
those rainbows and look on Twin Peaks if you're in the Bay Area. We will have it lit up next Saturday night.
And until we see you again, a gracious good day.
Thanks for watching.